Hello. Today I would like to talk about MAGA, the MAGA official liar, Caroline Leavitt. Hello, welcome to Marxisms. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you've never been here before, welcome. Please like and subscribe, but do not hit the notification button because that is annoying. Anyway, yeah, I sometimes I can't tell if this Carolyn Leavitt, the press secretary, is just really stupid, or if she's just a really good liar. She has got to be the most deadpan prevaricator I have ever seen in my life. So it makes me think that maybe she's just dumb and just doesn't know. She's just told this is what to say, and she just believes everything. A lot of MAGA are like that. I mean, I know people like that. I know basically otherwise intelligent, honest people who constantly recycle and regurgitate the bullshit that Trump spews out there. I mean, no matter how ridiculous it is, every single conspiracy theory from Pizzagate. I mean, I know this guy. It's just like, oh yeah, he was telling me all the pedophile in this country is run by the Democrats. I'm like, really? And yeah, that was the whole Pizzagate thing. And it's like, which we know is ridiculous and not true, but they believe this stuff. I mean, this guy, this same guy, he's blocked me at this point. He will not. We used to be actually pretty good friends, but he doesn't want anything to do with me, which is fine with me because he's such an idiot that I wouldn't want to be friends with him. I mean, what would I talk about? I mean, everything he posts on his Facebook page is just complete and utter nonsense. He's one of those, it's like your uncle at Thanksgiving dinner. Your crazy uncle. Everybody's got a crazy uncle at Thanksgiving. It just doesn't go well. Anyway, so I guess Jasmine Wright at one time she had asked, "Can you clarify what kind of protest does Trump support or find acceptable?" And that was called a dumb question. Well, there's nothing dumb about it because, first of all, um, I mean, Trump's been known to. I mean, I remember he when he held the Bible upside down, he went out and had people tear gassed these peaceful protesters outside the White House and run them off. And then he goes out there and holds the Bible upside down and says, "Oh, his bullshit about how much he loves the Bible," which is kind of funny because then he's being interviewed at some point after that, where by a couple of pastors, a couple of really religious guys, and they asked him what his favorite Bible quote was, but he couldn't come up with one. And he it was a good save though. He said, "Oh, it's very personal to me," and yeah, actually, I would say that that's correct, but that's not why he did it. He did it because he doesn't know any. He has not read the Bible. Dr. Seuss, maybe. The Bible, definitely not. Mein Kampf, probably. The Bible, yet. But anyway, so there's been a bunch of things that she just well, I mean, how could you be his press secretary and not be just an accomplished liar? It's just not possible. Um, she perpetrated the condoms in Gaza conspiracy theory that was going around there. That Elon Musk. See, that's the thing. It's like talk about DUI hires. He hires these people that just it's like my old friend from Idaho who just any meme, anything that's insulting against the Democrats, he just thinks must be true. He was telling me, "You wait," uh, um, talking about the Kraken, Sidney Powell. It's like, "You wait, it's all coming out how they cheated and this and that." No evidence ever came about yet. MAGA still believes that it was stolen, and they believe it had to be because how could he have won? Biden have won so many votes, and how come the all these votes all of a sudden got dumped? Well, I was a Republican committee member for many years, and we used to have election parties, and I remember people getting upset as the count would change over throughout the night. Eh, or they'd get really euphoric early in the night. "Oh, we're killing it." And I'd say, "Okay, you need to calm down because everybody who knows politics knows that Democrats vote by um, absentee ballot, and Republicans like to go to the polls. Okay, I'm one of those people. I like to go to the polls and do my whole voting thing. I like that. But in some years, I've actually voted by mail just because of the ease of it, and I can get it out of the way, and I don't have to worry about it, especially if I'm working or something. Which I'm not. I'm retired, so I don't need to worry about that. But anyway, it's it's well known, and most states, when they count the ballots, they count the ballots from the day's election first. And so, as these ballots come in, they start counting them. They do it throughout the day. They're counting these, and when they get done counting those, then they count the absentee ballots. That's why elections shift in the middle of the night, and that's why when I was a Republican, and we'd have these election dinners, election night dinners, and we'd sit around. We'd have big screen TVs or projectors, and we'd have dinner, and we'd have drinks, and we'd watch the whole thing unfold. And people would get euphoric in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, we're killing it. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to wait because they still have to count, these other ballots later on. So, you're going to watch this lead dwindle, and he may end up losing, and like in the Bush '04 campaign was one of those things where it just kind of shrank during the night. He ended up winning, but um, that's what everybody in politics or that's savvy about politics knows. I went to work the next day. I've told this story before. I went to work the next day, and I was talking to my coworkers, and most of them were Republicans, even though we're a union. So I don't know how that works, but um, exactly. And but they're sitting there. I'm telling them it's like, well, okay, Biden's going to win Michigan. Biden's going to win. Um, I forget what states I was had because I did an analysis the night before. Went and looked at how many registered voters there were, and on in each party, and I looked at how many votes had yet to be counted, how many votes had happened, and I took those numbers, and then you start seeing how many were coming in compared to the other. Like there was at this point they were counting absentee ballots, and so they were at least 2-1 in favor of Biden, and that's the way they were coming in at that point. And so I did an analysis, and I went to work and I said, well, Biden's going to win these states here, and I nailed every one of them, by the way, which was kind of funny. They're going, "What are you talking about? Trump's winning those states." And I said, "Yeah, but he's not by the time that's all over." And obviously, I'm not involved in some conspiracy theory and conspiracy and all that stuff. I mean, I'm just a regular Joe, even though I was a member of the Republican Party. I mean, it was, I haven't been involved in a while, and I certainly wouldn't try to steal elections. But you would have had to have just a massive conspiracy of Republicans and Democrats to get away with this. It just isn't possible for it to have happened. And but I nailed every one of these things just by doing a little bit of math the night before and doing some checking some things, checking in with the states that were under being contested and stuff like that. And I could tell you for an absolute certainty that it came out exactly the way I expected it to, based on my own analysis. So I know in my heart that it wasn't stolen. There just isn't any way. It came out exactly how it was supposed to. Uh, you know, the way things based on the way things work. But so I guess it's just so easy to convince these people of these kind of lies. You just say a thing like, "Well, how did Biden all of a sudden win? Where did these votes come from?" Well, it's pretty simple. They came from absentee ballots. Another one of these was they showed a clip in that movie, the Dinesh D'Souza, that phony Dinesh D'Souza put in his stupid movie, which is just, I mean, literally, it's a hack job. That guy is a big liar. his movie is a joke. He used fake content. He did clippings. He took that clip of them pulling the ballots out of underneath the table. Here's what happened. They they had a bunch of people around and they had workers and it was getting late. So the workers are going, okay, it's late. Are we going to go home? And then somebody said, yeah, I mean, let's go home, and start up again tomorrow. And then some of the observers ended up leaving, I guess. But then they're like, no, 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 we don't do that. We continue here until this is counted. And so they were like kind of shocked because these are volunteers that do this, and then they show them pulling the ballots out from under the table. Well, the thing that Dinesh D'Souza doesn't show is that they were pulling. That's where they were keeping those ballots in the first place. All the ballots, not just they're not fake ballots. They kept all the ballots there. I guess this was in Atlanta or something in Fulton County, and so he takes this clip and says, "See, there's the fake ballots that they were hiding under the table." Well, no. If you watch video of the entire day, they were pulling those are legitimate ballots that they were storing under the table out of the way until they were able to count them. And those were legitimate ballots. But see, this is how these people are able to lie, and stupid people who don't investigate things like I do are easily fooled. But see, I go look this stuff up. I'm like, really? Is this what happened? And then I start, digging into it and finding out that, oh, no, no, footage for the whole day shows they've been pulling ballots out of there all day long because that's where they kept them. Because they're not going to keep them in the middle of the floor where you're going to trip over them. That made no sense. But anyway, so that's why it's easy. And see, Republicans know this. Democrats used to know this too, because Democrats used to do this all the time. They would just make these outlandish lies, and um, people they know people would believe it because people tend to they have cognitive dissonance. They tend to believe what they think is right based on their viewpoint. And if you're against Democrats, you're going to believe that they always cheat and always lie. And see, I'm not like that. I'm the kind of person that I want to have facts, and so I've always been one to dig into the facts. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes to the facts, the Republicans had figured it out, and they are the ultimate liars. We know that Fox News lied about the election. We know that because if you've bothered to look at the emails that Hannity and Laura Ingraham and some of these other people were sending each other, they did not believe that the election was stolen. Yet, based on their emails, yet they went out on the news every day and claimed that it was stolen. So they deliberately lied to their viewers about those things. Laura Ingraham, that day of the riot, was saying that, oh, facial recognition shows that these are Antifa members. Well, she knew that that wasn't true based on her emails, but she went out and lied to her constituent or to her viewers anyway. They were not. It was just definitely not true. It was just a bold-faced lie on her part, and people believe it. People still believe it to this day. I still hear people saying that. Intelligent people. I had a friend who was a professor, and he was trying to tell me that months later. I'm like, no, we know that isn't true. So anyway, so Karoline Leavitt is either she's the perfect just MAGA dupe, or she is just a really, really good liar. I think she's actually probably a really good liar. It's funny, she wears her little crucifix, and the Pope, I think, told her to take it off at one point. I don't know what was actually said, but she took it off after talking to the Pope. Maybe he blessed it for her. I don't know. Or maybe he told her, you're a lying piece of shit. You shouldn't be wearing that. You're gonna burn in hell. I don't know. She's a horrible Catholic. Um, you can't be a good Catholic or a good Christian in the traditional sense of what a Jesus follower should be and be that big a liar. It's not consistent. So she lies about the condom thing. There's this thing that Elon Musk was putting out, and he got it from social media that $50 million in aid was being used to fund condoms in Gaza. It's not even close to being true. It's just a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. Blatant lie. Um, let's see, what are some of the other ones that she's done? Birthright citizen is unconstitutional. She's put that out there when clearly it's not. Birthright citizenship is in the Constitution. That's what the 14th Amendment says. If you're born in this country, that you are a citizen. If you're born in like an embassy or something like that, people have kind of tried to point that out to me. What if they're born in an embassy? Well, then they're not born in America. They're born in the embassy or through the embassy, like like John McCain was. John McCain, I think, was born on a military base in Panama, and but he's still. But if you're on a military base, even if you're born in the hospital off the military base, you're still born under the American flag. So these people are born under whatever flag they're working for. So that's a little bit different. Although there's a case for them being having dual citizenship sometimes, but it's um, if you read there was this thing going around for a while. It was the libertarians were putting it out, and they showed what was the writing of the very first paragraph, the intent of what they wanted the 14th Amendment to be, and it differs from what the final outcome was. But what I used to sit there saying, "See, look, this is a fact," and I'd say, "Yeah, but if you go read the rest of the debate, if you go look that up, which it's hard, you can't find it anymore, because the internet sucks now. The internet is just leads you down. It's got the AI and it leads you down these paths of stuff that's not true, and you have to really dig. And some of the stuff you can't even find anymore online, but back then you could." And so I'm like, you need to read, and I'd post it for them. And so you need to read the whole debate, because what they might have intended in the beginning uh, and what they actually vote on could be two entirely different things. And in fact, what they voted on was to make anybody, regardless of their parents' status, if they were born here, they were citizens, and that's what it was voted on. That's what it means. It's what it says. So anyway, no more of that. So she's lying about that as well, because she's either an idiot or just an accomplished liar. She might be an idiot on some of these things and just an accomplished liar on others. Um, she lied about the bird uh, killing of 100 million chickens, blaming Biden, saying that he ordered it. Well, you kill the chickens when there's an outbreak of a disease that's going to spread and kill more chickens. So in order to save the chickens that aren't sick, you got to get rid of the other ones. And this is a policy that came into effect during the Trump presidency, the first one, and it came in to effect in 2017 while Donald Trump was president the first time he was elected. It's called the Federal Blue Flu Controlling Policy. And yes, 2017, that's Trump, not Biden. She's recently, I think, just recently lying about gas prices and whatnot. And my favorite of her lies was, and I was watching this, watching her do her press briefing, and somebody asked about Trump monetizing, the presidency, and she says, absolutely, there is no way that Trump is using the presidency to make profit. That is an absolute bold-faced lie, because no president would ever get away with this before, but he has made so much money from the presidency with his latest is a cologne, a $250 bottle cologne. Um, the MAGA shoes that might have been, that was before he was elected, but during his campaign, the cryptocurrency, not only that, but what are some of the other there? Well, of course, the Bible that the Bible that printed in China, um, and other things. Let's see. I have to look something up real quick here. His real estate dealings. He's using his position as president to make dealings. He's using his presidency to make dealings and get money. He did from Saudi Arabia. His family got billions of dollars from the Saudis because of deals he made. Some of that might have even had to do with uh, his files. They say that there were nuclear files missing on Israel. Well, you think the Saudis might have got that? Probably. I mean, and all of a sudden he's getting billions of dollars from the Saudis, who funded terrorism, by the way, and then he gets that golf tournament thing. So yeah, um, he uses the when he goes to the on goes to different places around the country where he has venues, Trump branded venues. He makes sure that all of the um, Secret Service and everything have to stay at his place, and then charges very high prices for the venues themselves. So it's literally costing us a lot more money to for him to be president, especially the way he lives. He has to have um, all these special fancy places. Everything has to be super fancy for him. He doesn't go cheap. He doesn't go anywhere cheaply. Even though he's got the money to pay for it. So he's got a watch, which oftentimes has stuff that's spelled incorrectly on it, like $250 for the watch. Um, there's just all these things are just cheap ass stuff that he's selling for these ridiculous prices and making money on it. Let's see, of course, the God Bless America Bible, which is a piece of garbage. It's printed in China, and it's awful, and it's got that stupid song by Lee Greenwood, "God Bless the USA," which is just a dumb song. It's just people, oh, I love that song. Well, it's just dumb, really. It's just pretty childish. Plus, it has the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance in there, which is stupid also because they shouldn't be with the Bible. The Bible is separate. It's kind of idolatry in a way. It's just unbelievable. Now he's got the Trump Mobile, and he claims that it's like better than everything else. All he does is use the I think AT&T phone lines or Verizon phone lines. All it is a cheap ass phone. He says that you tried to claim it was made in America, but it's just a cheap ass phone from China. It's not even a top of the line. It's not as good as my Samsung. It's just a cheap ass common Android type phone it's made in China. They might assemble a couple of parts here, but that's about it. It's still the same old Chinese phone that everybody else has. It's just ridiculous. So Karoline Leavitt said it was absurd for anyone to insinuate the president is profiting off of the presidency. Well, that's utter nonsense. She's lying through her teeth. 13 million in interest and dividends from investments. I mean, the list just goes on. Trump Mobile, um, uh, just he has these Trump memorabilia, Trump coins, and whatever those things are, those digital cards and stuff like that, and it's just absurd. I don't know how this woman keeps a straight face when she's actually doing her press conference. To be honest with you, it's really kind of sick. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, and it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do some more on her later at a later date. I'm going to. I want to trying to get some footage of her, and just kind of go through some of the lies and talk about it. It'll be fun. It'll be just a fun little project. Anyway, peace.